What are the most striking differences you see between the EU of 4.5 years ago and the EU of today?
It's actually about continuity as much as it is change. I look at the EU as an institution or set of institutions that have provided security in Europe and also prosperity for European citizens and an increasing level of engagement with countries and partners around the world. So that's the bedrock of the EU from my perspective. If I'm looking at things that have changed, when I first came here we had the global financial crisis still finishing, we had the Greek financial crisis, we had the migration crisis. I don't see anything of the same order happening right now. The other big change that we've seen is in the May elections for new leadership in the European Parliament and in the whole process of approving the von der Leyen Commission. We've seen a massive focus on a Green Deal, and climate change, sustainability are right at the forefront. Fantastic to see that happening from a New Zealand perspective.
What role does New Zealand play in the Asia Pacific?
New Zealand's a very active player in the Asia Pacific. We've got very considerable equities both in terms of trade and security in both the Asia part and the Pacific part. We try and play a supportive role in trade rules through APEC, which we'll be hosting again in 2021, through a network of free trade agreements we've got with different countries in the region, through the role we play in institutions like ASEAN and our relationships in Asia. And on the Pacific side, the South Pacific side, our immediate neighbourhood, we've reset our policies over the last couple of years, trying to have a greater partnership approach to bring other partners like the EU, the US, Japan to play a more active role in the region. And to try and address some of those global challenges like climate change and biodiversity loss that are really key for our neighbours in that region.
And what impact has the Christchurch tragedy had on New Zealand's policies around hate speech, both locally and internationally?
The tragedy forced the government to act very quickly to try and stop hate speech and extremist content being spread online in New Zealand. The government has empowered our law enforcement agencies to really go after people who are showing the video or supporting the ideas that are in it. Where we see this stuff popping up overseas, there's also been an active engagement to try and shut it down. But the most important element globally on this has been that the Prime Minister has worked with the President of France to develop what we call the Christchurch Call, which is an effort to work between like-minded governments and the main internet service providers globally, the Microsofts, the Facebooks, the Twitters, etc., to try and do better to control and to manage and to shut this stuff down. And I'm proud to say that there's been really good progress made on that over the 9 months or so since the Christchurch Call was first launched.